Welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel. In this video, we'll talk about how we got our drone fixed, update you on the baby bunnies, talk about our new GoPro, and use it while filming some projects like pig fencing. Here are the baby bunnies at 5 days old. They don't look much different from the last video that we showed them at 4 days old. Look how much they've changed now that they're 10 days old. The next day when we checked on them, they looked even more grown. They should be opening their eyes any day now. Their mama, Zelda, has been taking good care of them. Oh yeah, we named all the adult rabbits. This is Hugh. He's being a little shy. This girl is Mary. She might be having some babies of her own soon. We're curious to see how many of her babies are going to be albinos too. This black and white girl is Poe. There's also a chance she's pregnant. This guy here is Cyclops. He doesn't shoot red energy blasts like Scott Summers, nor is he a man-eating giant who dwells in a cave, but he does have one eye. This last bunny is Madeline. Hugh managed to get into her partition of the hutch several times before we made some modifications to keep him out. She's definitely pregnant. The chickens have been doing great. Big Bertha has been laying eggs almost every day. Cheep Cheep has stopped for the winter, but she should start back once it starts warming up about the same time the younger 14 chickens start laying. The ducks still love their little pond. The pigs are getting huge. The 5 of them are going through 150 pounds of feed every 4 days. That's an average of over 7 pounds eaten by each pig every day. We put the indoor growing setup in our office and started some seeds this week. Here are about 250 blue spruce seedlings. In about 4 or 5 years, we'll have Christmas trees for sale! This is an assorted lettuce mix. This tray contains chard, kale, and collards, as well as broccoli and Brussels sprouts. This one has several types of cabbage and spinach. These little sprouts are wasabi arugula. We can't wait to try it. We transplanted the older blue spruce seedlings into their own cups to allow the roots to spread and grow. We had gotten 2 of these shelves several months ago, but only got one put together right away. It was finally time to get the other one assembled, and we figured this would be a great opportunity to make a time-lapse with the GoPro. Don't mind the bare midriff. I'm not trying to show off. I have a long torso and have a hard time finding shirts long enough without feeling like I'm swimming in them. It's not a big deal until I start stretching and reaching or bending over. So basically, I need to start buying longer shirts. This shelving unit is relatively easy to put together. The only tool you need is a rubber mallet. Working alone makes the bottom shelf a little difficult to get started because the vertical posts need to be perfectly perpendicular to the horizontal pieces. It can be tricky without a third hand. The wooden shelves slide into the frame and need just a little coaxing with the mallet. They can go in whatever position you want. I used these storage totes that will be stored on the shelf to choose the correct height. It's all done! We have this super short shelf that'll be great for something small while still having plenty of space for our totes and boxes. Now it's time to wear the GoPro on our head mount while finishing up the perimeter of our pig fencing. A few videos ago we ran out of polywire, so we ordered another half mile of it. Time to get started. We sped it up 8 times faster than real time to make it a little less boring for you. Comment below if you're interested in seeing the process at normal speed. We'll happily post that if anyone wants to see it. We walked along the perimeter of the fence and got to the back side where we located the end of the polywire and tied it to this new spool. It was very cold this day, so I wore gloves to keep my hands somewhat warm. Dexterity is important when doing this kind of work, so I had to take them off from time to time. There wasn't much more wire that needed to be run, so it took less than 10 minutes to finish. When we got to the end, we cut the poly wire and secured it to the last post. It'll be easy to splice in another piece of wire to connect this fencing to the existing fence to electrify it. Our drone finally came back from the manufacturer's repair center. In all actuality, we're pretty sure it's a brand new drone. None of the scratches from crashing it are present. The shipping instructions said to remove the propellers before sending it, and it came back with brand new ones attached. Guess we have backups! We were obviously very excited to get this thing in the air to get a bird's eye view of the changes we've made to our property over the last month and a half. The controller wasn't paired to the drone, so we tried to sync them. This particular drone requires a smartphone to connect to the controller in order to operate it, but the DJI app kept crashing. We uninstalled it and re-downloaded it, but it still crashed before even opening. After reading the reviews in the App Store, we learned that every single person in the world couldn't open the app to fly their drones. Thankfully, someone mentioned that you could download the app directly from their website and it would work. Of course, it took almost an hour, probably because their servers were overloaded from every other frustrated DJI drone owner. It's finally finished downloading and installing, and it loaded just fine without issues. Time to get in the air! Here's the front of our property. You can see the giant pile of tree stumps and other debris we made last month when we rented the excavator and skid steer. Most of the area to the left of the shipping container will be seeded with grass, and then we can install the fencing around the birds and bunnies to give them about 2/3 of an acre. Our driveway needs a lot of work. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already, because we will be showing how we're working on that with our tractor very soon. You can see our new deck on the back side of our house. It's been awesome hanging out and grilling outside since it's been built. After you're done watching this video, check out the video of our epic deck transformation if you haven't already. There's a link in the video description below. Here's an approximation of the current fenced area the pigs have to wander around and do pig things. It's about a 1/4 acre, give or take. Now let's take a look at the total area they'll have once we're finished dividing the new fencing into 4 additional paddocks. They'll have all of this that you see here. The woods aren't too thick, so there's plenty of room for them amongst the trees. The creek runs across the top part of the trees here, and the fence will prevent them from having access to the water and beyond. They will have about 2 acres total, split into 5 sections, so hopefully that'll be enough for them. When our 2 girls start breeding, we could have as many as 25 out here, and they will rotate more often at that point. Here's the back section of our property that we cleared out with the equipment. This is about 1.5 acres, and we'll be turning it into pasture soon. We're planning on adding cattle in spring of 2023. This is the very highest elevation point facing the front of our property. That should be enough for some beef to graze once it's full of grass, alfalfa, and clover. Back to the pig fence, but this time we're going 20 times faster than real time. Once both strands were installed, we had to go back around and make sure nothing was touching the wires to ground out the circuit. This involved lots of weed pulling. This is where the gloves were quite handy. The thorns on some of the weeds dug into them instead of my skin. We probably should have put an epileptic seizure warning at the beginning of this video, because the pine straw looks like erratic static when moving this quickly. This process took about 40 minutes, so even at 20 times the speed, it's quite a long time to watch. Let's skip to the end. The pigs were excited to see me and came for some love.
Hey, go on, Charlie. Hey, Chicharron. Hey, Luau. Marcia. Prosciutto.
Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below if you're interested in seeing more detail about any of the topics in this video. We'll happily elaborate for you. See you next time!